Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we're not really going to talk about anything Warhammer 40k related at all in this video. Instead, I wanted to expand a bit on an explanation I gave in Tuesday's video, Mondays. I can't remember which one it was. Sorry. I basically mentioned that the schedule for this channel should be like 5 videos a week, Monday to Friday, and that. Recently I've been missing some every now and again. It tends to have been like 3 or 4 videos a week instead, and the explanation for that is that I'm basically just not very well again, but not like that. Before it was pneumonia, and pneumonia, whilst it's nasty, is also just one of those things that you can kind of take medication for and eventually it will go away. The issue that I'm having at the moment is related to my mental health. And for those of you who aren't aware, because I have talked about it a lot in the past, but not so much recently, at least since the channel started to grow sort of significantly, I have had issues with depression for like 10 plus years, something like that. And every now and again, something will happen that will cause a depressive episode, and I've had a couple of serious ones in the past, but whilst they've been rough, I've kind of bounced back from them and found a way of coping. And the last time I had one, I was put onto some medication that actually did a really good job of balancing me out and keeping me pretty much stable and normal. And that worked great until 2 and a bit years ago, about the same time that my first daughter was born. At which point it stopped working properly. It just doesn't really do anything. Apparently, it's very common for that kind of antidepressant where it's a version of Prozac basically. And there's an entire entry on Wikipedia about people just developing a tolerance to Prozac. Like Prozac just stops working for them, which is essentially what's happened to me. The problem is that we didn't clock that was happening until I was like really ill, and it was having a like severe effect on everything from work to personal life to just health in general. I was actually getting physically ill just as a consequence of being so completely mangled in the head. And we've been trying to find a solution for that and trying to get around that and try and improve things to the point where I can switch over medications. And I started switching medications a couple of months ago. And in the past couple of weeks, I've had like a massive, like a pretty horrendous kind of decline in just my mental health as a whole. It's taken a severe and very weird nosedive where I'm having issues that I've never really had before. Also, what is going on with the light in this room today? It's all over the shop. It's because I've got the window open, but I don't have a proper light at the moment because it broke, so I'm having to use the window for light, but then it just keeps sort of changing it all the time. England, what are you going to do? So yeah, I've been having just like really frustrating and weird side effects and complications and stuff, and I referenced a couple of these in the video where I originally mentioned this, and to be honest, I guess this is just sort of updating you as to what's going on, but I'm always of the opinion that if you feel that you're in a position to talk about this stuff, then if you want to, and you feel that it'd be helpful, then you should, because there are going to be other people out there who are having maybe not the same issues, but definitely similar issues. Depression isn't uncommon, anxiety isn't uncommon, and if it's gonna be as much of just a really shitty, miserable experience as it is, then I might as well share it a little bit, because if a couple of you guys watching have the same problems, at least it's doing something useful in that it's letting you know that you're not dealing with it alone. You know, it's like it is pretty garbage, if I'm honest, at the moment. The side effects I'm having are just all over the shop. Like occasionally I will just completely I guess, phase out. It's like I phase out of existence. I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing now. I can't remember what I was doing before that. Like, I will just suddenly completely dissociate, and it's like I'm looking at myself in third person and just not be aware of why I am even here to begin with, which is disconcerting every time, and it gets a little bit trickier to bring myself sort of back to normal after each time it happens. I've had some really serious issues with my memory where I've gone out for an hour. Like, I took my daughter out for an hour on Monday, I think it was, and I took her out and we had a nice morning together, and we went and did some shopping together and stuff, and she got to walk around a bit, and which is, that sounds weird because she's like 2 years 3 months old, but usually when she tries to walk around, what actually happens is she tries to run away because she thinks it's funny. So actually being able to just walk alongside her was quite nice. And I know I've done this because I have pictures of it. I took photos of us whilst we were out. I took a couple of videos of us whilst we were out. And if it wasn't for that evidence, I wouldn't know that had happened because I can't remember it. Like, I literally have essentially no recollection of Monday morning at all. It is gone. I went out, I came back, and everything in between is just a blank space where that should be. And honestly, it's kind of scary, to be perfectly honest. It's the idea of losing a chunk of your time, a chunk of your day, just to nothing. There's no incident, there was no sort of accident, I didn't get, clocked around the head or anything, I haven't got a concussion or anything like that. It's just not there. It's just gone. And I can look at the videos and I can look at the picture and the pictures and be like, I mean, it clearly happened. So where is it in here? It's just not. Then there's all the standard stuff that you get when you're having a depressive episode, which again is just frustrating and just really miserable. Like, I cannot even begin to describe the extent of like hobby dry spell I'm going through right now with 40k and other stuff as well, where I know I need to be putting stuff together. I know I need to be painting. I know I enjoy it. Like, I know that is something that relaxes me. It calms me. It makes me happy. It's one of the things that I do to unwind and to just detach and lose myself in. It's as close to meditation as I'm ever going to get, really, painting something, for whether it's 40k or D&D or whatever. But there isn't just a lack of enthusiasm for it at the moment. There is an outright... The idea of doing it just exhausts me immediately. It's like I think about doing something and my body just goes, oh, Jesus, that took a lot of effort. It's like, but I haven't fucking done it. I haven't done it yet. I haven't done anything. I'm just sat on my arse. I'm doing nothing. How is that tiring? And then I just end up going to bed at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, and going to sleep because I can't do anything else. And then come the morning, I wake up at about 9 o'clock feeling incredibly guilty because I've set my alarm. I've slept completely through it for the third day in a row, which means that my daughter has been awake for like an hour and just entertaining herself in her room. And, I'm missing time with her, and I'm missing getting her up at a reasonable time for a breakfast because I just don't respond to any sort of stimulus, like that sort of thing that is supposed to get you up and about. Like, my phone lives on, like, next to the pillow on the bed. It lives there. It is at full volume. When the alarm goes off, you cannot fail to hear it. You can be downstairs in the fucking kitchen, which is on the other side of this house, and you can still hear it going off. But I'll sleep through it. And it'll just keep going and going and going. And eventually, after like an hour and a half, I'll stir and I'll be like, okay, I'm awake, fine, let's get up, look at my phone. Oh, it's been going off for like an hour. Great. What is the point? It's like, it's incredibly frustrating. Having no energy is never great. having no energy to do the things that you know you enjoy, and that if you started doing it, if you just sat down and fucking painted something, you would feel better, and you know you'd feel better. So why aren't you doing it? Oh, you're just not doing it. You just can't. It's that there's no actual reasonable explanation. I mean, the thing is, I'm saying all of this, and there is a reasonable explanation. And the reasonable explanation is that I am switching medications over. The medication I'm switching over to, it might not even work. This is the other thing as well. Some people spend years trying to find the right antidepressant. They will go from one medication to the other, feeling garbage 100% of the time, and then they'll hit on the one that works for them, and they will feel a lot better. The one that I'm switching over to may not even be the right one for me. I got lucky the first time because I found one that worked instantly. I'm incredibly fortunate for that. But I might not have that experience again, in which case I don't know how long this is going to last. Now, at some point, we will find the right thing, and I will stabilise again, I will feel better again, I will go back to normal, and I will be able to function like an actual adult human being. But that doesn't stop it being frustrating, and it doesn't stop it making me really incredibly angry at myself in the meantime. And I suppose that's the thing. I know there's an explanation for it. I know it's depression. I know that it's a mental illness. It's not a mental, I've decided to be a useless arsehole for 6 months problem. It's something that preys on you and makes it difficult to function. I always say the same thing to people who are like, oh, can't you just walk it off? So, have you ever had a broken leg? Yes. Oh, why don't you just walk it off? That's not how it works. Right? It's just not how it works. So I know the reason for this. I know why it's happening. I know that I'm doing what can be done. I'm going for cognitive behavior therapy. I'm changing medication. I have now 2 doctors looking after me, attempting to make that happen. I have everything I need in case of going further down the rabbit hole, so to speak. And I have the self-awareness as well, which the last time I had a depressive episode, I didn't have that self-awareness, but I do this time, of knowing when to call for help in terms of an emergency. The last time I had a serious episode, I had very clear and very distinct suicidal thoughts, and I wasn't in a position to deal with it. This time round, I know I am, which is a bit of comfort, because I know that if I do start thinking that way, that I will have I'll have the capability of actually doing something about it in a positive way, not in a negative way. But one of the things that I find fascinating and so fucking stupid about depression, at least the kind that I have, and this is the other thing, so not everyone experiences depression in the same way. What I'm talking about is obviously it's my experience with it. It's what I deal with. You may not have the same experience, even if you do have, a diagnosed case of depression. It can be different for everyone. But the thing that I find so fascinating and so fucking stupid is that you can hear me talking about this, and I know it's happening. I know why I don't want to do anything. I know why I can't wake up. I know why I have to resist sleeping all hours of the day. I know why I don't have any motivation, why I've got no energy. I also completely acknowledge and recognise that it is a mental illness. A lot of it is it's in my head, and so therefore I should be able to change it. And I know that I've had positive experiences in the past where I have managed to actually change my behaviour. But I'm going back to, I'm back to doing cognitive behavioural therapy because all of the shit that I learned before has stopped working now. Which makes no sense. It's like it worked before. It's not dependent on medication. It's stuff that I've actually learned in order to deal with this, and now I can't do it properly. But why? What has actually changed? It's an incredibly... I keep using the word frustrating because I don't know what else, what other word to use. It's an incredibly frustrating experience to be able to sit down and actually pinpoint to myself the problems that I'm having, the issues that I'm dealing with, the experiences that I'm having, and to know that there is a solution, and I know what the solution is, and then to have to go, but you can't do it, so there you go. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's so annoying. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, I know all of this shit. I've been through this multiple times. I've dealt with this multiple times, and I've come out of it multiple times. I've been in worse places than this. You know, so far I count myself kind of lucky because I am lethargic and I'm tired and I'm forgetful. My memory's just shot to shit. I can't remember a damn thing. I will literally walk into a room and not just forget why I've gone into that room, but start wondering why I'm in this building to begin with, even when the building is my own fucking house. But on the upside, I have had one single moment through all of this where I've thought, it'd be easier to give up. It'd be so much easier to just not be here. I've only had that once, and for a split second, and as soon as I had that thought, that was like a kick in the back of the head. Because I thought it, and then immediately it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't do that again. And so I have that capacity to recognise that things are bad and that things are going wrong. But it's not stopping them from going wrong. And it is just the most bizarre, surreal, and just so fucking stupid experience dealing with this shit. And I guess this started out as trying to update you as to what's going on, and it's basically just turned into me ranting about this shit for 15, 16, however long we've been going. I can't have my glasses on, so I can't see the timer. I'm assuming longer than it needs to be. But as I said at the start, I guess there is something to be gained from it. There is something to be done with it. It's not a positive experience in any way. It's just shit, and it starts shit and it makes you feel shit for months, and then if you're lucky the shit will stop. I guess at the very least, if some of you watching this are having this experience or have had this experience or feel like this only happens to you, because that's the other great thing about depression, it's one of the most insidious, evil issues that you can have in terms of your health, because it does a staggeringly good job of isolating you and making you feel alone. Despite seeing, the same group of friends 3 times in the last 7 days, I still have to convince myself that I do actually have friends, right? They are sort of talking to me because they want to, and not because they're being forced to, right? You're not the only person going through any of this shit. I sincerely wish that I was the only person going through this, because it means that no one else would have to deal with it, because it's fucking terrible, and I hate every second of it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Sadly, we have not yet invented a way for one person to shoulder everyone else's issues. Otherwise, I'm sure that there would be multiple volunteers, just because they'd know how badly this stuff just fucks you up. But you're not the only one. You're not the only one dealing with it. You're not the only one who's having trouble with it. You are not the only person to experience it. You are absolutely not the only person to feel as though you're alone. All of us who are dealing with this feel like they're alone. No matter how many friends you've got, no matter how many times people check up on you, no matter what is done to make you feel better, you will feel like you're by yourself, and you're not. Jesus. Okay, well actually I could finally miraculously focus on how long we've been going, and it's been 21 minutes of this. Oh my god, this is going to be the most fucking depressing video ever recorded. Christ. 20 minutes of rambling about depression. Well, I'm not going to ask if you like that, because you probably didn't, because it was miserable as fuck. Let's be honest. But I hope that's A, updated you, B, showing you that it is kind of possible to talk about this stuff if you need to, and C, if you are, why am I itemizing this? What the fuck am I doing? And just letting you know, you're not by yourself in dealing with this. There are other people out there. There are people you can reach out to. There are people you can talk to. There are places that you can go, even if you want to do it anonymously. There are things you can do to make yourself feel less alone, because you're not alone. It's just the god-awful bullshit illness sitting in your head making you think you are. And it fucking sucks, and I hate it, and that's where we're going to end the video today. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, why? And I'm almost half tempted to put like a secret word at the end, just so I know how many of you actually finished this, but I don't think I will, because then I'll actually know how many of you gave up after 5 minutes instead of listening to the whole miserable length of this nonsense. So I'll just settle for saying thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.